Hello everyone, and welcome back. I got a request here on the Joe and Zach Survival channel to go over the stove here I have in the tent, and I've got requests like this before, and I can't remember if I've ever talked about it in previous videos. But anyway, I thought I would talk a little bit about it today because I have never said a bad thing about this stove. This stove has been really good for me, and I've just really enjoyed it. I bought this stove back in, I believe it was July or August of 2007. So right now, what is it, January 22nd, 2016? So this stove has seen a lot of fires, and it's showing some wear now, but that's a lot of years. The company that I bought this stove from is called Cylinder Stoves, and in fact I bought the stove, and I believe I bought the canvas wall tent that we're in right now in the same place. And until deer hunting just a couple months ago, this tag goes on just below the door, and it fell off, but I kept it up in my little shelf up there. And here you can see Cylinder Stoves out of Cedar City, Utah. I see now they have 4 different sizes. If I remember right, they only had 3 sizes when I bought it. They actually do them a little bit different. They do the front draft going in the door a little bit different. I'm not sure how I would like that or not. But when I did it, they only had the 3 on the right. I have the middle one. I have the Outfitter stove. And for this tent, I would have never wanted a stove that was any bigger. When I bought it, of course, I bought the package deal. So I got the 5-gallon water heater, and I've got the little warming tray or warming shelf that's off to the side. Now, when you buy this stove, if you did not have the water heater and you did not have the warming tray, just the stove itself, the legs come off. It's a 5-inch pipe system that they have, but when they send it to you, you know, like a pipe fits inside of a pipe or whatever, so it's all supposed to fit inside the door, so it's small, compact, and you can travel around with it. I didn't care about that, and I mean, I have replaced that stove pipe so many times. You go through it about once every 2 years for sure. You should pull it out about every year the way I have it set up, because that stove pipe is always up in the air. When it rains out, the water runs down. As far as the 5-gallon water heater, it looks really cool, and I have used it. The problem with it is you put water in there, and then you can use the water right away, but then once you're done, then it all is going to just boil out. There's no way to shut it off. So I used it a couple times, and then when it gets really hot and all that moisture in there, then this door will warp up a little bit. I mean, and it goes back down afterwards. So I mean, I think it's really neat, and if I had to buy a new stove for here, I would get one again just because I like how it looks mainly, and you can use it if you want to. But there's, you know, how do I drain it and stuff like that. So for me, it's easier to put the water in a bucket or whatever, put the container on top of the stove and heat the water up that way. But it does work. As far as the warming tray over here goes, I would say that that's a must. If you guys have watched the Joe and Zach Survival channel for any amount of time and any of the tent videos, I do a lot of cooking on top of the stove when I come up here in the winter, if I'm going to be doing a fry pan. This time I'm up here doing it on the fire in the barbecue. And when you're cooking stuff, you know, you want to slide it to the back next to the stovepipe. When you want it really hot, you slide it out to the front when you don't want it quite as hot. But sometimes you have to slide it half and half on there because it gets too hot. And then plus, if you want to keep anything warm, it's a warming tray. So I end up using the warming tray thing quite a bit. Like I was saying, now they do the dampers differently. Now they have like a round damper with 3 triangles that you spin. I don't know how I would like that. I'm just not sure. I haven't used one. I have been so happy with this stove because this is like a thermostat. You fill this thing up with wood, you turn down the top damper, and you just adjust that draft. If you want it warmer, you slide it to the left. If it gets too warm, you just slide it over. It's just like turning the temperature in your house on the thermostat up and down. And the only thing is, now after 8+ years of use, and I mean, this thing has had 1,000 fires. I mean, it's had a lot of fires in it. And like I said, water can come down that pipe all the time. So if it rains real hard, the water will sit on top of the stove. But anyway, you can see that it's kind of warped. And I've had some hot fires in here, but it's like it warps down because it gets so hot. And I think that the metal's a little thinner because it's rusted off right there. And I mean, that's no fault of the stove. If I would have like a rain cap on top or something, maybe that wouldn't happen. I don't know. But I can't complain about this stove. If I had to buy a new stove for this tent right now, I would get this exact stove, and I wouldn't buy it from any place else. this stove always pulls a really good draft through it, so I can just take and put, if you leave a little bit of ashes in the bottom and you put your logs in there, you can come in here and put some lighter fluid underneath it. It doesn't even have to be a whole lot of it. Light the ashes so you get a little fire going, and that draft pulls through so good that it always starts it right up. So I'll let it burn like this. Like now I had a bunch of coals in there, of course, but just put the logs in there, open that draft up a little bit just so it starts burning like that. And right now, because it's about 10 degrees outside, I have to keep it right about there. And then my damper, I just turn that down, not all the way, but to right about there. And as you can see, it's 77.5 in here, and it'll just stay right between 72, 74, and 80 degrees. It all depends. Just turn it up and down. And in this size of a tent, even with the back addition, which it takes a while to heat that up now in the winter, but that's because it has such a small hole getting through there. But even with this size of a tent, I can fill that stove up at night all the way, and then I keep the damper right about where you've seen it, you know, about 3/4, 7/8 of an inch off, and then I completely shut the draft off, and it'll sit there and smolder all night long, and it'll still be halfway decent in here, and you don't have to load up the wood at all at night. So anyway, somebody wanted to know about that stove, or I think it was several people have throughout the years. And now, you know, and I'm in no way affiliated with Cylinder Stove Company. I had to look up on the thing to see what brand it was. I imagine when I bought that in 2007, I wanted a stove that looked good. I would have looked at shipping because I had it all delivered. That and the tent was delivered to the house and stuff like that. So I'm not pushing those stoves. I'm sure somebody else makes one that's just as good, but all I can say is I've had super good luck with mine. Okay everyone, well thanks a lot for watching my requested video on my tent stove. That website that I showed you was cylinderstoves.com, and just remember that this was the outfitter is the size, or the outfitter package or whatever. So alright, we'll see you guys on the next video.